Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. As always, I'll be talking to an author whose book I have recently read and enjoyed. And my guest for this week is somebody who's coming on the show for the second time. And in the past 4 months itself, she was last here on the show in October, and now she's here again in February. And we are going to talk about her latest title, Mahagauri. It's in the same genre as the previous time. We had a lot of fun discussing it, and I'm very excited to talk to her about this title also in the same genre. We are going to talk about Mahagauri. This is the book cover, and Nitya is going to join us in a while. In fact, she's already here. Let me quickly invite her. Hi, Shelfai. Thank you for joining. Hey, hi, Nitya. How are you? Welcome back.
I am fine. How are you?
All good, all good. And yes, welcome back to the show. Very excited to have you here one more time. And I was saying yesterday in my caption also, I mentioned this that you are someone whose books I have enjoyed in this genre from the very first book that you wrote. Uh, I'm forgetting now. Rudraban. Yes, Rudraban, then you Navapashanam, and now Mahabharata. All three in the same genre, and I have been a fan of your writing since the first. Is there a static? Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you, yeah.
Yes, okay. I thought there's some static. Okay. So yeah, third book in the same genre, and I will not tell you right away whether I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the first two. let, let me give you the stage first to introduce yourself to the audience.
Right. So, I'm Nitya, and I have been writing since 2017. Mahagauri is my third book, but what people don't really know is Mahagauri is the first book that I wrote.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This was the book that I wrote in 2017, and then it got contracted, and then COVID happened, so publishing it didn't go to the floor.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, and after a lot of delays, it has finally come out 8 years after I wrote the book.
Oh my God. So this completely changes my perspective on the book now. Whatever I thought about it, now I have to think in a different angle now.
I'm so good at this stuff. But yeah, so I wrote Mahagauri, then I wrote Rudran, and then I wrote Navapashanam after that. Actually, even there's a googly. I started Navapashanam, had writer's block, stopped it, and then did Rudraban in about a couple of months and published it. That's how my writing journey has been so far.
Oh,
Uh, and yes, as you mentioned, all three in the same genre. I really enjoy mythology, fantasy, historical fiction, and stuff like that. And that's what I'm really called to write as well.
okay. We have Shell-Stite stories here. They are saying Mahagori is a great book to read in mythological fiction. I completely agree. And we'll
I
come to that. We'll
thank you
come
so
to that in a
much.
bit. So this is the cover of the book, and I must say, once again, the cover is very, very, very beautiful. And I think it is better than Navapashanam, just because of the color grade. Because this is much more vibrant.
There's
It
a
has
story
lot
behind
more.
that as well. There's a story behind that as
I
well.
was coming to that, in fact, because I remember last time in the episode, you gave me a googly, and I was like, oh, I didn't notice this element in the cover. Come on, tell me now.
I didn't like this cover at all.
Oh my God, why? Why? This is so beautiful. Why didn't you like it? Now I'm interested to know.
So when they send you the final print cover and stuff, it's obviously on emails and things like that.
Hmm.
And it does not look. It's not a likeness of how it actually looks in print. So it looked very vibrant. It looked too vibrant for me, and um, I'm not that much of a colorful person, And I said,
Okay.
this is screaming colors. I don't like it. And and so my editor was like, listen, just take my word for it. This will do well. And I said, okay, whatever. I've waited for 8 years for this book to come out. Kuch bhi. Let's do this. At least
But
can you
now,
mute those? Okay, we'll mute the yellows a little bit, but know that once it's published, it'll be a shade or two lighter any which ways. I said, okay, I'm trusting you, and this is all in the hands of Ma Gauri only. Let's do this.
So now I want to know, after the book has come out and you are getting all kinds of reactions from the readers and people who have appreciated or not appreciated the cover. Tell us how you feel about it now.
So many people have said that this is an amazing cover. I've not heard one negative thing about it. And I said, okay, Nitya, this is why you have to trust your editors. You have to trust their experience. You have to trust their judgment on these things. There's a reason why they are the editors and they have the experience to back it up.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, it is just very vibrant. I mean, very, very eye pleasing. I don't know why you didn't like it. I am still surprised knowing this.
I think the yellows were a little too much for me.
Okay.
Look, look it in print.
Now, since we are talking about the cover, is there any element in this that we might miss at the first glance? Because I remember in Navapashanam, you told us about the two sides of the same face. Now, I want to know about, is there anything in here we might miss at first glance?
I don't think so. But if you read the story, then probably the cover will make more sense to you because it calls on elements that are very dear to me, like the spirituality. You see the cosmos behind. You see the cosmos behind Shiva and Shakti, and that's for a reason because we wanted to bring in that spirituality.
Yes. Now, let us go into the contents of the book. I am going to read out a few passages for the readers. So, besides the cover, also they are intrigued to go check out the book. And this is from the first chapter itself. The chapter is titled "A Dream Glows Up in Her Face," and this is how it starts. She crouched behind a boulder, checking that she had all her weapons in place: a sword in its hilt, a dagger tucked into the left side of her waist belt, and a poisoned dart pipe at her right. She barely dared to breathe, fearing that someone might detect her. The forest's thick, close-set trees almost left almost no room to navigate the ground. The roots had formed clumps the size of small boulders at the base of the trees. High above, the tree tops merged into one another, creating a dark canopy that almost blocked out the sun. The sun's rays scattered through tiny gaps that managed to find between the thick overgrowth. Sunlight danced in tiny circles on the forest floor. She avoided the bright patches and stayed hidden. She leaned forward enough over the boulder to check for movement. All was quiet. Just when she thought there was no one around, she heard a faint breath behind her. She leapt into the air, swung around swiftly, pulled out the dagger from the left side of her waist belt, and even before her feet hit the ground, she slashed the man's throat in one neat line. He dropped to his knees as the sand drank in the blood, turning the place red. With a start, Gauri woke up in her bed and put her hand to her mouth to stifle a scream. Sweat drenched her, and her heart thumped wildly as if it wanted to leap out of her chest. This was the first time the dream had been this vivid and detailed. She was still shivering from what she had dreamt about. Though she had just killed someone, yet she had remained so calm. It was a recurring dream that had haunted her since childhood. It had always begun in a dark, unfamiliar forest. She seemed to be hiding from someone as she moved stealthily in the shadows. She was always dressed in a sari draped warrior style. The sari below her waist was tucked between her legs to create a pant style fit. Part of it went over her right shoulder, then was twisted and tucked into the waistband at the back. This freed her hands for quick movement. The strapless blouse was wrapped around her and fastened with a double knot at the back. But what bothered her was the sinister turn the dream had taken today. Why did this bizarre dream haunt her so often? I'm going to stop here now so that people will, we are not giving away too much, just enough intrigue to check out what happens next.
Yes. Go find out why she was dreaming.
Yes, and what the dream is all about. Why is she dreaming this? Why is she dressed like that? I think why she's dressed like that is the hint is already given in the cover. So she's wearing the exact attire that I have just mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nitya, based on my reading of all your three books now, I have read all three and I'm so happy that I have, and I have enjoyed all three. I have to mention this now since I said in the beginning I want to measure them equally and tell you whether I enjoyed this one more than the others. So I have to now rate, before I ask you the question, I'm going to rate the three books. Okay, for me, from Nitya's, for me, the top would always be Rudraban.
Mhm.
Then I think my rating is as per the sequence of the books of
Okay,
reading. So first Rudraban, then Navapashanam, and then Mahagori. I like them all, but this is my rating. Like, okay. So based on my reading, I had a few questions for you, Nitya. Are you ready to answer those?
absolutely.
Okay, so my first question to you, I think you have answered it a bit already, but I still want to understand from you, which is that from Rudraban till Mahagori, three books down now, and in the same genre, has your approach to blending mythology with modernity evolved, and in what manner? Take us through the workings behind the characterization, the plot, the settings, etc. that have changed you as a writer from the first to the third book.
So obviously, this question needs a slightly different answer because Mahagauri was written a long time ago.
Yes.
Um, so what I'll say is that, of course, my writing style has changed a lot since I wrote Mahagauri, and that's pretty obvious to anyone who reads the book. In fact, that worried me a lot. I was very skeptical when the book was coming out, saying, okay, people who read this versus people who have read Navapashana may be disappointed because of the writing style, and I mean, not to say that the worry is out of misplaced or something of that sort, but it also hasn't come out as badly as I was expecting.
Yeah.
Right? As a writer, you know that very well. You critique your own work the most,
Yes.
right? And
True.
so when I came back to editing Maha last year, I was like, "What trash is this? How am I going? How are we going to release this?" Right? Like, oh my god, I have to rewrite the whole book again. But thanks to excellent editors, um, they really, made it work. So I did have to go back, redo some chunks of it. I think, given the timelines, we were not bring about that shift in the entire um, writing structure, but I did go and change a few things.
Okay.
Now, um, compared to Mahagauri, Rudraban did evolve a little bit, right? There was a lot more showing rather than telling. There was a lot less of, long character arcs and pages of description and world building.
Yes.
A lot of that was obviously missing in Rudraman, thankfully. But also, if you see, Rudraman didn't require for that much of a world building. It was set in the real world, right?
Yeah.
Between Bangalore and the Western Ghats, they're all real places.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to describe those things as much in detail as I did have to with Mahagauri.
Yes.
Because Mahagauri is fantasy land,
Hmm.
that much of world building was required.
Yeah. Also, the one distinct thing in Mahagori compared to the other books is that it has more action. It has war scenes. The other two don't have that. And
Yes.
I absolutely enjoyed those. I was like, okay, she needs to write another epic, I feel, because I love the war scenes.
Yeah, thank you so much. It is not easy.
Yeah,
It's
I,
not.
I, I was imagining that it was must have been so tough to put into words because you know what is in your head, but you can't describe it exactly like you are imagining it.
Exactly. No, it's very hard to talk about how the sword is moving or how someone's landing or what position the other person is standing in, right? And just to describe the weapons itself is like a fair
Yeah,
amount of it's that's a task as well. So So yeah, I think that the writing style in Mahagauri, given a chance, I mean, if I could go back and make some changes, I definitely would. I would. There would be a lot less of those in-depth descriptions and things like that. Except for the world building, of course, the world. the entire of Saptapuri needed to be described.
Yeah.
If you had to imagine what they were doing, where they were going, you needed to know all those places.
And
So,
I also want to know, since
hmm,
we are traveling back in time in Saptapuri, what are these places in the modern times? That is not mentioned. So I was very curious about that. What are these places in the contemporary world that Gauri is living in now? Because she is also not thinking about that.
yes. And I think the reason for that is because in my head, the world has changed a lot. I have not mentioned what timeline she travels back to,
Yes. Yes.
right? So it could have been before the plates crashed into each other and the Himalayas were formed, or it could have been after that, but when the landscape was still very different. But my references for places are actually the Vindhyas.
Oh,
My
interesting. Okay.
all my research and a lot of my descriptions came from reading about the Vindhyas.
Okay. And I did, of course, identify a few rivers that have been mentioned, which are still the same. So I
Yes.
was like, okay, maybe she's talking about this area. Maybe she's talking about this region.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Which brings me to my second question, Nitya, which is that one thing that impresses me most about all three of your books is that you managed to keep it brief and also provide detail within 300 pages. In fact, less than 300 pages. And in what, as in my experience as a reader, I have seen that this particular genre, it tends to make the authors go beyond 300 pages, sometimes up to 600 pages. So I'm very, very impressed that you managed to do it within 250 and 300 pages without missing out any detail and, giving us enough setting to understand what is going on in a particular scene. So tell us, what is your trick to do that? And I especially want to know that because I am somebody who cannot read or write thick books now.
Absolutely understandable. And that is one of the reasons why, even though I love writing mythology and I'm into that whole fantasy fiction genre, I don't read much of that genre either. I tend to pick books, but the ones that are smaller, right? Um, because somebody in one of my book club groups mentioned, they said to me that you should, if you're into fantasy and stuff like that, you should read Patrick Rothfuss, In the Name
Okay.
of the Wind. And I
I'm
started, and I'm sorry, I could not get beyond 4 pages. So much of world building in just pages. I got bored. I'm like, okay, when do they start doing stuff?
exactly. So as an author and a reader, I also do not have that patience. I'm like, just get on to the main part, right?
Yeah, so and you see all of as you mentioned rightly, all of those books in that genre, Priory of the Orange Tree, Sarah J. Maas, they're all like huge books, and naturally they're huge books because there's so much of world building that needs to be done. Each of these characters, and because it's fantasy fiction, because there's magical realism, you have to bring in that element of okay, how are they magical? What does their magic do? And things like that. So I think how I manage to keep it short is to draw that really fine line between reality and magic or myth and mythology and stuff like that. I ask myself very often, how believable is this? Even in Navapashanam, while I've said that it's a miraculous, artifact that can cure any disease or malady, I'm asking myself how readily the audience will believe this,
Hmm. Okay.
right? If I am going to question its validity or um, how much I can believe in it, then I'm not going to write it.
Hmm.
Which is why I never write a book like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
really, you really have to go all the way to have created an entirely different world with all of that. So I think even if you look at Mahagauri and the entire journey that Gauri has taken through that through the book, there's some aspect of reality to it.
Yes.
I think most people can identify with that character, with the journey that she's going through. Um, and assuming that you are put in such a in a similar situation, would you also feel similarly?
Hmm.
Right? I think that's what keeps it maybe smaller for me, so I don't get into detailed descriptions 7 pages long about the king and his jewelry and stuff. I don't know. I feel like the audience can discern all of that for themselves. Okay, 2 lines about his jewelry. I'm sure your imagination will take you there and fit his jewelry well enough.
Okay.
So
So it's a combination of two things for you. I think what I'm understanding from the answer that you have given me, it is that as a reader also you don't enjoy it. That's why you are able to emulate it in your writing. And then other thing is that you are not thinking beyond a particular field. You are only thinking कि इसमें इतना ही explain करेंगे तो चलेगा. And you trust the reader to take the interpretation from those little things that you describe.
yes, yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, and this is something I'm still learning myself because I sometimes ask myself that I'm understanding what will the reader understand or not, and I tend to over explain stuff
Hmm.
as a writer. This is something I have to learn. This is why I'm so impressed by how you do it in such brevity. Amazing. And I've noticed this in all three books. And that's something that struck me. I was like, okay, she's managing to do world building within 250 pages, and I'm not left with, unanswered questions at all. Thank
I
you for
think
sharing that.
I think that's it's important to give credit to the readers and their intelligence as well, right? I mean, do we really need that much of world building? The reason we are reading is because it transports us into a whole new world, and we can apply our imaginations there, right? Um, so I think they will bridge the gap where needed.
Yeah. And I think the genre itself, when we are picking up mythology or fantasy or magical realism, we know that there is going to be suspension of belief. So we don't need to feed at every page or every passage that this is not something that will happen. This is
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, not to take away from writers who have, created new worlds and have gone into a lot of detail. Hats off to their efforts. Hats off to the kind of work that they put in into creating these worlds, the kind of creativity that requires. Wow. I am in awe of all of them. So it doesn't take away from the fact that these books are great and the work that's been put into them is great. It's just that I would like to be closer to reality and keep it shorter.
Yeah. And I think, Harry Potter remains one of my favorite book series ever in my life. But still, I am now at such a stage as a reader. As I'm aging, I'm like, okay, no, I can't do thick books anymore. Give me give me brevity. I want this to get over and get to the point. Give me the main plot.
Yes.
So yeah, totally understand that. Okay, so I think that brings me to the end of my questions that I had for you. You have also read my book, which is not my latest book. So please go ahead.
Right. So I am going to be talking about Manali. This is love and melodrama. Not melodrama, not like "Hi, kya ho gaya mere saath," but melodrama. Um, but of course, melodrama would have suited considering the ending, which was exactly my reaction. Hi, ye kya ho gaya?
I'm so sorry. So Kana is already here and she's going to join you in the club of hating me forever for that ending. So you have company.
Yes, thank you for the support. But back to your book. So,
Book
love
that we're
and
talking
melodrama,
about.
love trials too.
Yes. Quickly showing everyone the cover. This is the book that we are talking about, Love and Melodrama. It's a rom-com. And Nitya has read it. Yes, please. Nitya, go ahead.
So lovely, really, really beautiful. I just love all the female characters. I don't know why I get excited by good female characters in any book. And you've seen the theme across all my books. All my protagonists are female, right? So love Gayatri Kulkarni. I just absolutely I'm crazy about her. I also love all of the other female characters, Radha, Uma, right? Really nice, fun. Uma auntie is like very quirky. I'm like, I can imagine the Marathi mom.
Yes.
Yes. So I am going to be reading from the chapter Goodwill or God's Will,
Okay. Interesting. Yes.
right? And I'm not. the entire chapter. I'm going to just go with the starting and then I'm going to read what I really want
Yes.
people to hear. Believing that only good things will happen to you is like hoping that your ice cream never melts, even in summer, and when kept outside. Gayatri Kulkarni. Now, obviously, I had to read this because this is a direct reference to Fit Melt.
Yes, exactly. And you can see my obsession with ice cream goes way back.
Yes.
I'm just going to read out the comments that are coming in. Chapter and chatter, which is Nehal. She brings super cute cover. Thank you so much, Nehal. And to Kama is saying that ending hurts even more because Gayatri is so awesome. I am so sorry. I am going to keep apologizing forever for it. But
We'll come to that. We'll come to that question.
yes, please go on. You were reading.
Okay. Can you not be so obvious? Sharad whispered in her ear. Gayatri jerked her eyes open and turned towards him, quickly following his gaze. Her cheeks turned red as she realized her little charade had not gone unnoticed. That's Abhi's older brother Varun, in case you want to give a name to your latest crush. She kicked Sharad and gave him a spiteful look while sticking her tongue out. He isn't single though, from what I know, Sharad added. The satisfying tone and mocking look on his face did not miss Gayatri. This time his reward was a punch on the arm. Sharad winced and went on. How does it matter to you anyway? Your status is also, it's complicated, isn't it? Though a bit heartbroken on learning about Mr. Gorgeous's status, Gayatri had to admit that Sharad was right. She rolled her eyes in response to his question and said, Can we focus on the Aarti before we are reminded by Mother India about what amazing kids we are? Sharad shrugged by chuckling a bit and turned his face to the front. Gayatri looked around and saw that filled to its capacity. As the Aarti reached its crescendo, her eyes landed on the Agarwal family who stood right at the front. She avoided gazing at the elder brother to circumvent further leg pulling from Sharad. She looked at Abhi instead and noticed that his eyes were fixed on someone in the crowd. Seems like I'm not the only one with butterflies in the stomach. As soon as the Aarti ended, Abhi rushed into the crowd with the prasad dish in his hand. Ja Simran, ja, जी ले अपनी जिंदगी, Gayatri mumbled to herself and sighed. Here, please take prasad. She turned and found herself looking into the set of brown, expressive eyes. Eyes that currently seemed amused. Eyes that belonged to a body that had a green kurta on it. When had he walked over? I thanks. Hi Uma auntie, here please take the prasad. Thank you dear. I was going to rush to you before it went kaput, but you're faster than me. Uma laughed at her own joke and Gayatri was thankful for her mother's vanity because her blustering had gone unnoticed and she was sure the butterflies in her stomach were no longer just for her ears. Mr. Brown Eyes smiled at Uma and started to walk away. As if struck by a sudden thought, he turned around and smiled. Leaning towards Gayatri and ensuring Uma's attention was elsewhere, he whispered, बड़े बड़े देशों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं, senorita.
Thank you for reading that out. It's been so long that I've revisited the book. I'd completely forgotten about this scene. Thank you.
Yes, that had to be read because obviously,
Yeah.
you know, this is everybody's favorite DDLJ.
Yes.
uh, and just how they meet each other's fruit, right? And so I wanted to talk about that. All right. So I'm going to ask you my two long form questions, right? Which takes off literally from here where we stopped reading.
Yes.
What was the importance of DDLJ for you that it was the backdrop of your entire book? For those who have read, I'm sure they know about it.
So the DDLJ was not as important for me as it was important for me to show how filmy Gayatri is. That DDLJ happened to be one of her favorite movies, and the connection that brings them closer together. During this scene, also you're already seeing the bond between them because of that particular movie. But then it forms a much bigger part in the initial and the later chapters. So the foundation started from trying to portray Gayatri as somebody who loves such over the top movies. And she's a completely filmy person, dramatic person. And when I went back to, where I should, went to the drawing board as to why, how and when I should begin her journey, this was the first movie that came to my mind because she belongs to the generation who was not yet born when the movie came out. So I was like, okay, I have to show her as being somebody who's a cinephile, but she loves movies even before the time that she actually came into this world. And of course, one movie that immediately comes to our head when we think about that is
Hmm.
DDX. Mid 90s. Gayatri was born in the late 90s, and the movie came out in mid 90s. So I was like, okay, let's stick to the 90s. Let's not take a movie from the 80s or 70s or maybe early 2000s. Let's stick to this movie. And of course, this movie is so epic that it is the longest running film in the
Yes.
at the moment. So it had to be that. And then I thought about how it is, the fact that it is still running in the theaters could form a backdrop for the story. And it became a very, like, okay, yes, once I thought of the movie, I was like, yes, this is how I can make the movie such an important plot line in the entire. And then from then on, it was just like building up Gayatri's character around the movie.
So that now makes me imagine, what if you had picked another movie? How would the story have gone?
I mean, the first thought that came to my head was Gayatri is obviously filmy, so she has to be somewhere enjoying a movie or talking about a movie in the first few chapters of the book to establish her character. And then I realized that if I just show her talking about the movies, how would Varun be a part of that conversation? So then oh no, I have to show her seeing a movie. Then only he can be there, right?
Love how much of work has gone into that.
Yes. And actually, that is also the crux of the entire series, Love Trials. The first
Hmm.
book also begins by showing the protagonist doing something that becomes a major part of her life later on. So,
Yeah.
and in the third book also, it's going to be something similar. I'm still working on the book and it's yet to release, but that is also going to be something where I'm going to show the female protagonist doing something which later on becomes very important to her as an adult.
Yay, can't wait. I love how you do that, right? It's so important when you do something and then you're able to tie in those loose threads at the end and say, okay, there's an aha moment for the readers as well when they say, oh, this is why they were talking about it in the beginning, or it stays with you throughout, and then you're like, okay, I completely understand. It's like a backdrop to the entire story.
Yes. So yeah, it was Gayatri's character and her personality which was the reason that I chose this movie to be such an important plot in the story.
Nice. All right. The second question is, why did you feel the need to end the story the way it did?
Once again, I have to justify it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the audience and Sukana already, she's, as I said, she's going to perennially hold a grudge against me for that ending. So,
You
and
can say sorry to both of us now.
but I keep telling everyone that, the ending came to me first. And from that point onward, it was just the story was just a means to justifying that end. Also, also once again, because the series is like that, the entire series, Love Trials, is something where I was very clear that I don't want to show a happy ending. The endings are all going to be unconventional. So you already know that third book is also going to be like that. And the people who had read the first book, they also knew that the protagonists don't end up together. There is something of a, I don't want to say it's a completely unhappy ending, but it's an open end and a very unconventional ending, just like in Love and Melodrama. So Love Triangle also had an open ending. Love and Melodrama also has a very open
Yeah,
end.
word.
Sorry.
I said, well, at least in some places they're alive.
You gave away me the spoiler. But yeah, so that is, yeah, that was always clear in my head. Even in the third book, I know what is the end. Even before I have started the first or second chapter, I know this is how they are going to, unfold. The events for the lead couple are going to unfold. So
I'm
can I
sorry.
say? So
Yeah.
can I crying already? See, my God, the romance reader in me is crying.
Yes, she's crying, and I'm getting insights into how genius your mind is.
I will write happy ending stories, guys. Don't worry. I mean, I already do short fiction which is happy endings. I will do long form fiction also which has happy endings. Don't worry.
Considering the aura that you bring and how bubbly and sparky you are,
The myth is broken in this entire series. This goes against my personality completely. Yeah, I know.
I've just left the name as melodrama, not melodrama. It is melodrama. It's like completely like, oh my god, why?
Nehal has not read the book and she's already saying spoiler alert. Sorry for that, Nehal.
No, no, we're not telling you anything. I'm just saying that in some places,
Yeah, don't separate or kill them. No, I have not separated them. There is an open end.
yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. I think we are done with the long form questions, right? Let's just move on to the more fun part, which is the rapid fire round. So, Nitya, you are already well versed with it. We'll do back and forth. One question I ask, one question you ask. Okay. So, my first question to you is, if you could ask Goddess Durga one question after finishing this book, what would it be and why?
When is she coming back?
Oh, I mean, she's going to say that depends on you, Nitya.
Why? Why would I ask her this question? Because, well, look at the world around us, right? I think we could do with a little more joy, or we could do more of Kali walking the earth.
Divine intervention is very much needed. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, definitely. If I could talk to her directly, I would ask her when she's coming back, but I already know the answer. She's like, child, I'm already here with you.
Yeah, I'm within you. Right? Okay, your turn.
Yes. If you had to change one thing about love and melodrama, what would it be?
I think I would give more presence to Abhi. I always felt that I did not give more more footage to Abhi in this book. So that I would have liked that more because this is a series more about the female friendship. So I tended to focus more on the three girls, and I was like, okay, Abhi is not the main character here. I have to give myself, take a back seat a little more. But I felt that sibling relationship should have been explored better.
But I think that he did, at least the camaraderie between him and Gayatri was really beautiful. Maybe that should come. There should be a separate book for that.
Yes. I have actually, in fact, a lot of readers have said that they love the friendship between Gayatri and Abhi. So I was like, yeah, yes. And I have to also
That
uh,
don't to romance.
I have to also confess that the inspiration for that actually came from one of my favorite bonds in literature, which is between Harry and Hermione. So I took that as a base, and I was like, they share such a good friendship. I have to, take a little emulate from their bond.
Yeah, nice. Fantastic reference. I think it landed very well. It landed very well because
Thank
without the ease between them, the banter, it was very natural and very well written.
Thank you so much. Multiverse Thanos and Ma Kali. Yes. I think she's giving you the inspiration for the next book, or maybe a plot you could explore.
Oh, yes.
Okay, my next question to you is, if Mahagauri met Gauri in her lab before the accident, what would that conversation be like? Can you take us through the first few sentences that the two different Gauris from two different eras would exchange?
So I think it would not be a good conversation because Gauri is a very logical person and she'll be like, okay, am I hallucinating? And Mahagauri would be like, listen, child, you're going to go through something that you're obviously not ready for. But know that I'm here with you. And Gauri will be like, what do you even mean by that? What do you mean you're here with me? What journey am I going to?
I feel that the current Gauri is very much like the Anandmayi of that era. A lot of her current Gauri's personality is like that from Anandmayi in that era. So
Yeah.
I think they would have made BFFs. And I also thinking maybe Ananya is the current Anandmi.
Yeah.
That thought did cross my mind. I was like, okay, in the current era, does she have the same BFF? And now they are like, in that era, they were like, there was a little animosity in the beginning. Then it took a while. And I was like, okay, maybe they are making up it in the current time.
It's a
Okay.
good it's a good line of thought.
Okay, your turn.
All right. So, Manali, are you grand gestures or team quiet growth? Which one secretly has your heart?
I am I? Sorry.
Are you team grand gestures or are you team quiet growth?
For if I have to do quiet growth, if the opposite person has to do grand gesture.
Of course.
Of course, I mean, come on, you have to put in that effort. You.
And how does that relate to your book now?
I think Gayatri is more grand gesture, and then Varun becomes that kind of personality that Gayatri uh, makes him into that kind of a person. He understands that इसको अगर पटाना है तो इसको तो grand gesture ही देना पड़ेगा. So he's like, I have no choice. I have to do grand gesture. That is why that DDLJ reference comes back, no?
You can have the grand gestures.
For sure, yes. Okay, my next question to you is if you had to pitch Mahagori based on any one scene or dialogue from the book, which one would it be and why?
That could be a spoiler.
Yeah, tricky question, yes.
Yes. I would pick one of the antagonists or one of the villains. I would go with either Moishan or I would go with Rakat. Both of them have really beautiful stories, you know, where Rakat nurses Moishan back to health and then gets flogged at the end of it. Um, Either that or the very beginning of Moishan's story where his father is begging somebody and what he does
Yeah.
at that point of time. That may be my pitch.
Now you're talking about it, I think I would pitch the scene where Rakat and Modi meet for the first time because that's also a pivotal personality shift in Modi.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So I'm like, oh my god, now you know your worth, babe.
You took your time.
Yes. Okay, your turn.
So, for you, did Varun exist as a fully formed character in your head from day one, or um, or was he like this really flamboyant character and you had to mellow him down as you wrote the character?
No, no. Varun's character was always very subtle in my head. He was never loud because Gayatri herself is such a flamboyant personality. I always thought of somebody who would be, comparatively a little silent. So that was always there. And I balanced it out in a manner that the siblings are also like that. Abhi is a little loud and flamboyant, while Varun is the quieter one. So when I wrote the first book, it was about Abhi. It was Abhi and Aisha's story in the first book. So the entire personality that first fleshed out was Abhi's, and then from there I developed Varun's personality. So I never thought of Varun as somebody who could be flamboyant. His
Hmm.
his personality development was a gradual process for me, if I'm being honest. Because as I wrote chapter by chapter for Love and Melodrama, he became clearer to me. And while Gayatri and Abhi were somebody who had already written in the previous book, so they were a little, I knew what they would behave like. I knew what their likes and dislikes are. Varun was somebody I was still building up in my own head.
Right.
Okay, my next question to you is now I have two questions where I'm going to mix up the two universes of Mahagori and Love and Melodrama. So, first question in that mashup is if Gayatri from Love and Melodrama were to meet the woman from Mahagori, what would she say to each of them? I have picked the ones that I love the most in Mahagori, and they are Gauri, Ananya, Vidushi, Gautami, and Anandmai.
Hmm. I don't know how rapid this is going to be.
It's okay. Take your time.
Uh, I mean, I know she would say something absolutely filmy to each of them, right? She'd probably look at Gautami and say, "माँ आपका थाली कहाँ है? आप कैसे वेलकम कर रहे हो सबको?"
Yes, definitely
Yes,
that's
I
something she
see
would
Jaya
say.
Bachchan
Yeah.
walking towards the door with that big thali.
Yes, true, true, yes.
Yeah, I think to Ananya she'd be like, "कैसी best friend है तू? तूने इतना भी नहीं सोचा कि where is
Where,
um,
where did she disappear? Yeah, right.
um to Anandmai, I think pardon the language, but
So
why are
uptight.
you somebody else?"
Why are you? Sorry.
I was going to say something, but no. Then we'll have to censor it. But
I would just say, why are you so uptight?
it
So
is
loosen up. Yeah, loosen up, babe.
and I to Gauri, um, Gauri's a tough one because she went through a lot and she came out on the other side. I think Gayatri would identify with that and just give her a high five.
Yeah, true, true. Yes, I think Gayatri and Gauri would be like, the trauma bonding is happening.
Yes.
Okay, your turn.
Yes. So, if COVID didn't happen, what completely different twist might your story have had?
That's a very interesting question because when I thought of the story, Gayatri and Varun story, I was not thinking about making COVID a plot line. But then I had to show Gayatri's personality change, and that trauma had to happen in her life for that kind of personality shift in her life and whatever decisions she made after that.
Right.
Uh, if not that, maybe I would have shown something in a different kind of tragedy. But that had to happen. That had happened because of COVID. I maybe probably might have shown it in a different manner, the tragedy that happened, but it definitely would have been there.
Next
The
time, snap your finger and just transport her to a different timeline.
true, yes. Go meet Gauri, babe. Okay, my last question to you is now we have two lead pairs, though yours is not exactly a romantic pair. We don't exactly see them as that, but I did get the vibes that they are, है, थोड़ा sparks तो है.
Yes.
So, what if they went and visited each other's worlds? So, where would Gayatri and Varun go for a date in Saptapuri, and where would Gauri and Shiva go from any place in LM? Not just in Bombay. There are many places that I mentioned in LNMD. So, where do you think they would go for it, and why?
I think Shankar would love to watch a movie, so they would probably go to the theater.
Yes,
Gauri and Shankar would probably go to the theater, and Gayatri and Varun would probably go to the lakeside fort.
yes. I immediately thought of that. I was like, this is a very nice, idealistic spot for these two to have a date. Perfect.
Exactly. It's a perfect spot for a date.
Yeah. Oh, we are aligned there. I'm glad. Okay, your last question.
My last question is did you all, I think you already answered this actually. So it's
Hmm.
not the last question. Did you know the ending or did you just wake up one day and choose for your readers?
Actually, I knew the story is not going to be a happy ending, but the way it came about, I thought of it much later. And it came to me because of other books that I read in the same genre and something something around the subgenre where the endings are not that conventional. There is not a happy ending. In fact, I don't know if you've read the book, but one of the major inspirations was the was the book Baz by Anuja Chauhan. I don't know if you've read it, but yeah, it also has an unconventional ending. Not
Okay.
very. Yeah.
Agreed. Although I do not like sad endings, I do not like tragedies, but since you've referenced it, I will definitely go read it.
Yes, it's a fun book. Despite the ending not being a happy one, it's a very fun book.
I mean, it's okay to not have conventional endings. Considering we're both Harry Potter fans, she literally killed one of our favorite characters in every book.
Yeah. We survived that trauma, so
Exactly. So I think we will live through any of these tragedies.
yeah. Okay, now we come to the last segment of the episode, which is the bingo. You have already done the fit meld bingo. Today we are going to play the love and melodrama bingo. And these are divided. This is divided into four sections. The
Hmm.
first section is called dreams and drama. And the first question in that is, have you ever pursued a passion your family didn't fully understand?
Most of my passions are like that only. When I started teaching yoga, this was just pre-COVID. I used to do in-person classes at people's homes.
Oh, yeah.
My mom was like, "ये भी कोई चीज होती है?"
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Very, very mom thing to say, yes.
Yeah, and then she did a complete U-turn when all my relatives started saying, "Oh, such a noble profession. She's going to people's homes and teaching them. Such a beautiful thing. She's enriching lives." And then my mom's like, "Yes, yes." Uh, I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah. Yeah, how that tunes change, no, I completely understand. Yes. Okay, next question. Have you ever felt overshadowed by someone more accomplished than you?
this is regular in our life, no? We have imposter syndrome, FOMO. Every time as authors we read somebody else's book, and I'm like, wow, how does their mind work like this?
True, yes. Impossible being a creative person without having the imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it happens in every, whatever field you choose, perhaps.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm not to go into the details of it, but it has a lot to do with our upbringing and our culture and things like that. And
Yeah.
a little bit of it is necessary. You tend to do better because of it, perhaps. Yeah.
It does, yeah. It has its own benefits also. True. Yes. Okay, next one. Have you ever romanticized your own struggle?
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
That aside, lock it in a shelf so far away, so deep, throw the key into the sea, and don't ever go there.
Okay. We are not talking about that. Yes. Okay.
A book about how deep I bury my trauma.
Okay. Next one. Have you ever used humor to hide your hurt?
Yes, yes. I use humor a lot. I mean, I'm a learning and development professional when I'm in training and stuff like that. So when I much earlier, like, 10, 15 years ago, when I was a novice trainer, it used to hurt me a lot when participants didn't turn up on time, didn't do their pre-work, or just didn't show up. They didn't ping you, they didn't bother, no courtesy, nothing. It used to enrage me, and I used to be so angry and hurt, like it's a personal assault on me or something. And I used to take that out as humor in the session. I used to be like, so I'm teaching something on assertiveness or timeliness, and like much like you people not coming on time.
I love this passive aggressive behavior. Yes.
Yes, I was passive aggressive, and then I realized, okay, I'm teaching to be assertive. I cannot be passive aggressive.
I relate to it because I was also like that. I also taught for a year in a school, and I used to behave like this with the kids when they didn't do homework or didn't pay attention. I used to taunt in the same manner, much like you or unlike you. So okay, next one. Have you ever chosen responsibility over your dream?
We do it all the time. We
Yeah.
do it all the time. I think, it's ingrained in us as Indians to choose responsibility over our dreams. But I can safely say that I've put that behind me. Today, I am able to separate them. I know what I want. I know what kind of space I need. I know what my priorities are, and I'm able to stand up for that. So, I have definitely done it in the past a lot. Um, but okay, I mean, we grow older, we grow wiser, maybe.
Yeah. Older, definitely wiser, depends on the perspective, I feel.
Maybe I got it.
Okay, next one. Have you ever secretly wished someone would notice you?
Bachpan mein. And that was always everyone's craving, no, and I still am the kind of person who somebody will just come up to and start sharing their stories.
Oh,
That
yeah.
happens at all in life. I mean, random things that I never really wanted to hear about you at all. They will come and they will share their deepest, darkest secrets out of the blue in a everyday conversation over coffee, chai types. No warning, please. Or
Oh, I didn't ask for this. You,
or I'm going to assault your senses by telling you this. That's practically strangers. I mean, really, people who are not even, I'm not even close to. And this was a trend even back then, bachpan mein, like, and then I'm like, okay, why am I always friend zoned like this?
Oh, okay. Next one.
Yes,
Have you ever proved someone wrong out of pure stubbornness?
of course. There's
Like it.
everything
I like
that.
it. Yeah, I love this. I feel nice if, knowing that I'm not the only one who's behaving like this petty behavior. What is this?
To tell you I can't do something, I will do it and show you.
Okay, next one. Have you ever tied your identity to a single passion?
No,
Okay.
I am strictly against labels.
Hmm. Nice. Now the next section we come to, which is the Mumbai energy section. And the first question here is, have you ever traveled across the city for someone you liked?
I have in Mumbai.
Oh, nice. This
No,
is
it was not that kind of love. I liked, she was a classmate of mine from school, and we were very, very, very good friends for the longest time. Um, I was very instrumental in setting her and her husband up together and stuff like that. So then she moved to Mumbai. She lived there for a very long time. So at one point when I was visiting Mumbai, I did go meet her, and I had to travel from Lower Parel to Goregaon East.
yeah, that's a distance, yes.
Yes, it is, and I couldn't feel my bottom sitting in the cab for such a long time in peak hour traffic.
Yes. Okay, next one. Have you ever fallen for someone from a completely different social world?
My husband.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
I am
Next
a
one.
I am a Tamil Brahmin, proper South Indian. Love bright ideas and romance and stuff, and he's absolutely the opposite Bihari guy.
Love this. Oh my God. Completely different personalities and upbringings. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Okay, next one. Have you ever felt small in someone else's privilege?
No, I don't think I've had the time to.
Okay. Lovely. Very, yeah, very mature. Okay, next one. Have you ever had a life-changing conversation past midnight?
Definitely. I think if you haven't, as a college going person or as a young adult, then you've really missed out on something.
Yes,
Those,
exactly. Those,
those
those late night conversations are eye-opening. Yeah. Okay,
precisely 2 and 3 a.m.
exactly. Yes. Okay, and the next segment now we have is festivals and fields. First question here is, have you ever realized you liked someone during a festival or a celebration?
Holy.
Yeah, interesting. I love this. So I am sure you love reading the holy part in this book.
Yes, of course. It's very nostalgic. He was my
Yeah.
neighbor. And I'm like, okay, great opportunity to go touch him. Ended up like all on his cheeks. God knows how much trauma that gave him of that. But
Love this. Okay. Next one. Have you ever pretended not to care in a public setting?
yes, a lot. That whole bravado. मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? But then deep down I'll be dying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, been there. Next one. Have you ever caught someone looking at you when you weren't supposed to notice?
Very often.
Nice. Next one. Have you ever cried over something in a public setting?
In a public setting, I have a lot.
Okay. Okay. And the last one is romance, ego, and mellowing. And the first question here is, have you ever softened because someone treated you gently?
Yes.
Hmm. I love that smile. You immediately, there's this trend going on Instagram where suddenly the ribbon appears and you become a pookie. That expression you gave right now. Okay, next one. Have you ever mistaken silence for indifference?
I don't think I've mistaken it. I'm pretty intuitive about these things, and I think the silence is indifference in most of those cases.
Okay, and the last question. Have you ever mellowed down without realizing it?
I don't think it's without realizing it. I have mellowed down. I had mellowed down, but consciously. It was a conscious effort. I think a lot of my childhood I spent trying to be invisible, so the mellowing was on purpose.
Okay,
I'm the opposite now. I will be as loud as I want to be.
lovely. And as one should be, I feel that,
Yes,
whatever you're
and I
comfortable
will
with.
definitely make my presence felt.
Yes, awesome. You've done very well on this. On this bingo, I think you did very well on the Fitmelt bingo, and you have done here also very well. So, congratulations. I
Thank
hope
you.
you had fun.
How do I know? I mean, how do you judge whether I did well or not? That I'm very curious about that.
Because a lot of them were yeses. That's why.
Okay.
There were only one or two no's, I think, in the entire bingo. That's how. I do keep track of that.
I know. Very fast the mind is going.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Nitya. And on that note, let's show everyone the book cover one more time. This is Nitya's book. Go check it out on Amazon, and it is also available in bookstores. Guys, this is published by Rupa Publication, so it is available across all bookstores in India. Go check it out.
Yes, please.
And lovely cover. If you enjoy mytho fiction, mytho fantasy, mytho action, mytho thriller, go check it out. Very nice book. I had fun reading it. And on that note, I'm also going to remind everyone that this is our book of the month for Fabulous Four in this month, and we are going to discuss this book tomorrow at 2 p.m. IST. So join us, join me and my three other bookish friends who are going to discuss this book again tomorrow. Today I talked with the author herself. Tomorrow it will be a different kind of discussion. The author will not be involved.
I, you can't keep me out of it.
The author will be there as an audience and we will be asking her questions. So she will be there, but not on the screen with you. So, yes, whatever we discuss, she will be there to give the inputs.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much, Nitya, for doing this. Always a pleasure to have you here and have a great weekend. Bye.
Pleasure is absolutely mine. Thank you so much for having me, Manali. Happy, happy weekend.
Yes,
Bye.
bye bye.